I suppose this nervousness is part of the experience
Yeah,
for
I
most
think,
people, huh?
yeah, I think it must be so bizarre. I mean, I never experienced it when I was seeking. You had to go to live talks, you couldn't do it over the internet, but it must be so weird that you're sitting in your room watching the TV and then suddenly I call you in your room. It must be a very bizarre experience. So I can understand the nervousness just because our brains aren't used to that. Our brain is used to TV is over there and it's outside of this room. Like it's happening outside. We're watching something that's away and we're watching it privately and then suddenly you're a part of that TV experience. Very funny.
Mhm. So, this is non-duality. We're talking about the supreme absolute consciousness, are we not?
Um, yes, yeah.
And our mission here is what? To avoid misery at all costs and establish bliss consciousness, right?
No,
No.
no. Which school do you come from? Where did you learn non-duality?
Well, um, I have a Catholic background as well as Vedic science, Vedic knowledge. So you don't want eternal bliss then? Am I correct about that?
Um, do I want eternal bliss? It just is a bizarre idea that's appearing now. So I've got no relationship to it. The idea comes up of do I want eternal bliss, and then they're just words that sit there and then they pass.
That through which these words passes is what we could call bliss, right?
Well, bliss is an experience. Bliss is something that appears in the world. It comes and goes. It's an experience. Often when you have awakening experiences, the effect is a lot of bliss. A lot of bliss. But bliss it's an experience. Unless you use bliss as emptiness or everything, but apart from that, bliss is a sensation. Like when you've experienced bliss, it's a sensation which is being experienced. It's not an experiencer. Bliss isn't an experiencer. The experiencer is not a thing. It's totally empty and it's everything. And in that, it's home. In that, it's complete. Bliss is an effect that happens in the body. But if you are a body that is not identified, and there is that seeing that who you are is a freedom, if someone's macheting you or stabbing you, there will be pain. This is the unrealistic expectation of the seeker, and it has this idea of bliss and this goal of bliss. But bliss is an experience that comes and goes, and when you have that idea that bliss is it, you will always remain a seeker. Bliss sees so clearly that bliss is happening in the dream, and there is something that experiences bliss.
Well, we're speaking separate languages, but I enjoy letting it wash over me nonetheless.
Yeah. That's why I asked where you came from, like what your tradition was, because it's normally there's so many different languages when speaking about non-duality. I call these the Tibetan bells. Can you hear that? Eek, 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 eek.
Yeah, what's
Let's
that?
go. I think it's feedback, but I always think of it like the bells going, like the Tibetan bells going, or
Uh,
something like this. I think it's just feedback between our computers.
Mm-hmm. I think you're my guru, Lisa.
Funny type
But
of guru.
I can't blow up your ego.
That sort of thing
Women
wouldn't
actually,
that sort
yeah,
of
go
thing
ahead.
wouldn't blow up my ego because it's against my personality type. On the personality type, so on the the personal character, my character is a loner. So the idea of having followers or being a guru on the personality spectrum is not a pleasurable thing. I'm like, it just
Exactly.
it's not it my conditioning or the way this body is to tend to remove myself from people. So these sorts of things wouldn't do anything for me. They would most probably be like,
Good,
ah.
good.
Even public
Yeah.
speaking, like it's something that would have been such a painful thing when I was identified before. Like it really was against the way this body's set up.
Do you witness your sleep?
Um, no.
Good. So you go to sleep and it's out, you're out cold, right? And then
And
you wake up
yeah,
like a normal person.
yeah,
That's good. There's something called moksha,
yeah.
and it's when your consciousness is turned on all the time and you're like detached. So we're all using similar terms here, and there's actually this battle between these gurus and then these gurus and these imposters and these imposters. Like, what is enlightenment?
Yeah.
And we need to reconcile this as a
Oh,
team.
but it's human nature. It's the current human nature. That's it's the current. It's it's something that will begin to change the more waking up happens in humanity. But the current nature of humans is, and the way that we speak is that we speak against things. So in order to say that I'm tall, I need to speak against small. I need to have a comparison to compare it to. So our nature of speaking and the nature of expressing and the nature of humanity is in comparison at the moment. So in order to even speak about anything, we always have something which isn't right, which we're speaking against, which we're comparing to. So it's just the nature, and it's not personal. Like all teachers do it. They all like say ones that they like or ones that they don't like, or by just speaking you're kind of referring to something that isn't true, but ultimately that's not true. The truth is this stillness which is experiencing itself now, and in 100 years time, when or 200 years time, when this becomes more the norm, then the way of speaking and the way of communicating will really begin to change. But at the moment, we're kind of in a society which is really identified, and we're in a language which is comparison. So it's not something that's going to be easy to just make happen now, but it's something that will begin to happen in humanity. Because how can you speak if you're not speaking against something? It would be impossible. It's So it's just the unfortunateness. Like sometimes when I'm speaking, I speak against the guru idea, and at the same time, in my heart, I'm really not against it. Like it's I'm not against that. And like when I say things, it sounds as if I'm against something else, but it's just the nature of words. Like internally, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like that.
Well, there was a very renowned guru that said, actually, according to Vedic tradition, women are not meant to be gurus. However, everybody listen up. um, Lisa is not a normal human being, and she really is authorized to be leading you, and you're very, very blessed and she's a worshipable being, and that's
So
all I'll say.
why do they say in Vedic that women aren't allowed to be the guru?
It's just according to the Shastras or the scriptures. I don't know why. It's just the way it is, and I think there's something to it, but there are these exceptions.
No, it's not. It, I do think that there is a difficulty when the woman speaks. In that, so this is the difficulty that happens, and I don't know if this is what they mean. This is like slightly complicated and hard to explain. The difficulty is so our first conditioning is normally the mother. Sometimes our first conditioning is the father, but normally our first relationship with a human is the mother. And so the mother is such an important figure in everybody's conditioning and everybody's life. And so when you begin to be a speaker, you begin to see that everybody is looking at you through their mother lens. And sometimes the the father relationship doesn't happen till you're older. It can be, and it is changing, but you normally have the mother relationship first. And so a lot of your view, a lot of your pains and pleasure and your personality type is very associated with the mother. So then when you're a female speaker, you get so many strong projections of the mother, but people aren't even conscious of it because they can't see their projections or what's going on. They just feel their feelings, and their thoughts seem to be true, but they're not even aware of what those thoughts are. So if there's any difficulty in being the female speaker, is that the projection onto you can become really strong. Not that it's not strong with men, but I just think that because your first relationship normally is with the mother, then there's something, and when you speak and when you're in a position of authority, then it often reminds the brain of that. So that's the only difficulty, but I see that as a blessing because there's so much that you can point out there. There's so much that can be talked about there.
Mm-hmm.
So even when you said to me that I'm an almighty guru, do you know the thought that popped up here?
What's that?
I wonder what his relationship was like with his mother. That was the
Yeah.
first thought that popped up here.
Well, we've come a long way. I'm in her house right now, and we've had some serious drama and karma. I actually have a little scratch. This is my evidence. She literally will become ever so slightly physically violent. Well, I have never been physically violent towards the woman, but we've been balancing karma. And Eckhart Tolle said, if you think you're so, or Ram Dass maybe, you think you're so enlightened, go and spend some time with your parents. So it's a gradual process, and we've been making a lot of progress. So.
Oh, nice. And is she into this subject? Does she have a more open attitude or view towards life?
Well, I think she's a very advanced soul, and she is gonna make it. She's gonna become an avatar or a saint. She already is, but then again, we all go in and out of this mundane experience and then the bliss experience. So she's not exactly a seeker. She just gets a lot of energy from me, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that maybe the woman is going to be not the woman as in speaking about your mother, but the woman in general, the woman relationship is going to be an amazing guru for you.
Yes, there's the archetypal gopi named Radha, who is not necessarily the mother, the divine mother, but she's actually the divine conjugal lover. And this is why I'm sure you get many more men than women. It's been my analysis.
Yeah,
That's good. It's
on
good.
YouTube, most probably, I get more men, but in person at events, because men are less likely to come, so when I do retreats, I would say it's even. Sometimes more women, because men are less shy to go to an event. I don't know why that is, but on YouTube, I think, or in the following behind on the computer, I'd say it's more men, but in person, it's even or slightly more women. But that's because women are easier at going to an environment which is new and which they don't know people. I think that's.
Very good.
So, have you spent time in India?
No, I have not yet. I know that I'm gonna go. I don't know when. Um, yeah, that should be a good experience.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
Again, I just suddenly had a panic then of like you were going to be like 16. You look older than that, but then I was like,
Yeah.
I've had
I
the
heard
experience before where I've had a very young caller and been like,
yeah, you have some age limit, right?
18, yeah.
18. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's relieving.
Nice.
So you mentioned this 100 to 200 years figure a couple of times.
Oh yeah?
I'm actually of the belief that it's more like 10 to 20.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's like an exponential change. We're like in what we call Kali Yuga, or the Iron Age of ignorance, and we're gonna do a big switch to the Satyuga, or the Golden Age of enlightenment.
Yeah.
And we're in the midst of that right now, and that's called the Pralaya.
Yeah.
And it's a very volatile time, and it's very exciting,
Yeah.
and it's gonna get better and better.
I have a feeling there's going to be a big change coming because obviously with your president, it's rising people up. It's making like people are going against that, and so I feel like there's going to be a change that happens.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a friend that comes from Cincinnati. His name's David Hoffmeister. He's a teacher. He has a house there, a community there. How do you say it? Cincinnati.
Cincinnati?
Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's a good place.
It's on the East Coast?
No, I consider it right in the heart of the USA. Ohio is shaped like a heart, and it's from the United States perspective. If Mother Earth was looking at us, then it would be right here.
Huh.
It's Ohio. It's just my own self-fulfilling prophecy. Ooh, look at me, I'm very special. But that's the thing here, everybody. You are the center of the universe.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah. But not the you that can move in time, the you that's always still. The you that moves in time believes it is the center of the universe, but that's something that comes and goes. But you, as that stillness, that presence that always is the center of the universe. And then the you, the personal you, comes in and out. It's there and then it's not. What time is it there?
I don't know. Everybody seems so still. I'm keeping my awareness on your audience here. I think they seem to be enjoying this.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take up too much of their time. Maybe somebody else would like to receive darshan.
Yeah, maybe it might be that it's cut off. It's been a bit of a problem tonight. Yeah, there's still people there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Oh, lovely meeting you. You seem like you've got a very sweet heart that's very open.
Thank you. Okay then.
Thanks.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you
Bye.
next time. Bye. Hey, Julie. Hi, Bradley. well, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to stop now. I'm sorry, guys, that it's been really difficult with the callers. And I'm sorry to you if I made you all feel left out. I can't remember what I said, but I can sometimes make cutting jokes. That is a personality trait that I have. And in England, we also have a bit of a tendency towards sarcasm. So I apologise if I hurt anybody's heart, but it's also an opportunity to see what's there and what you want, and also what it hurts as well, because really your freedom is in the experience, not out of it. It's in it. It's in experiencing, not jumping out, not trying to imagine a different reality, not living up here in your interpretation of what is, right in the middle of it. And that might include the pain of rejection from people. I can be rejected by people. I think I've annoyed my neighbours because I always walk up mud. I can't remember to take my boots off right at the bottom of my apartment block, because I should take my Wellingtons off there and then walk up barefooted. But I can't seem to remember that, so I walk up unaware that I'm always leaving mud everywhere, like I walk my mud in. And they all know it's me because it goes all the way up to my apartment, and then I kind of see it on the way back. And then I saw someone cleaning up the other day and they were like, at me. So then I was like, oh, sorry, it's part of this, part of life.